Hello, hi, and what is going on? This is Cody, and you are tuned into B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios here at Children's Hospital, Colorado. And it is another special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove with Maya. Maya, why is today so special?
Because Jesse Tyler Ferguson is calling in.
Woo! Welcome. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so honored and thrilled to be asked to do this.
Well, we are so excited to have you. Maya, it's your show, girl. Take it away.
So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk with you.
I've been excited to talk to you too. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. So my first question for you is, who or what was your inspiration to become an actor?
I went to my first play when I was very young, when I was about 8 years old, when I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And my mom took me to go see a play. I think it was Alice in Wonderland. And I loved being in the audience and I loved watching the play, but I really just wanted to be on the other side of the footlights. Like I wanted to be on stage performing for the audience. So that was like the first experience that inspired me to want to be an actor. And I was very young, so it wasn't really, up on pop culture. But one of the first people I remember as like an adult actor who really inspired me was Nathan Lane, because he's such a great theater actor, and yet he's done such wonderful TV work and film work. And he's also done everything from comedy to musicals to plays. He was on Modern Family as Pepper Saltzman, but he's also a 3-time Tony Award winner. I really admire his career.
Oh, cool. So what is the best part of being in a theatrical production?
Well, I mean, my first love has always been the stage. And one of the reasons I think I love it so much, first of all, I never even dreamed about being on TV. So Modern Family was a complete shock to me. It wasn't something I was striving for. It just was something that it was a job opportunity that I got that I loved, obviously, and it was such a great experience. But I've always only wanted to do theater. I'm so thrilled that I've gotten to do other things, but it's been fun working in all these different mediums. It's been fun doing theater and then doing TV. And one of the things I really love about being on stage is that it's so alive in that moment. Whatever happens in that theater is only going to happen in that moment at that time. And every show is different and you have complete control of your performance. Whereas, I shoot an episode of Modern Family and we'll do a scene 12 or 13 or 14 times and they'll rewrite things and they'll try different stuff. And then an editor gets all those different takes and they sort of Frankenstein a performance together. And then that's the thing that ends up on TV. So I don't have any sort of control over what I'm doing. So that's one of the main reasons I love theater. It's just the immediacy of it and sort of that connection that you have with the audience right in the room.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So do you have a favorite Broadway show?
Ooh, that's so hard. Oh, gosh. Well, my favorite musical is probably Sweeney Todd, which is a really great Stephen Sondheim musical. It's just really complicated and weird and avant-garde. I love a lot of Sondheim, actually. I love Into the Woods and I love Sunday in the Park with George. But I love Shakespeare. I love A Midsummer Night's Dream. It's one of my favorite plays. I've seen so many different productions of it and they're all so different. And actually the play that I got to do on Broadway this past year, Take Me Out, is one of my favorite plays. So I'm really honored that I actually got to be a part of it.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I've always loved Broadway, but right in 2020 when everything just shut down, that's when I just became obsessed.
Yes.
And I found all these soundtracks I'd never heard before, and so.
Well, what's your favorite musical, and then what's your new favorite musical?
My favorite is Spring Awakening.
Great musical. Yeah.
Um,
And then of the stuff that you just discovered over the pandemic, what have you fallen in love with?
well, Spring Awakening is like I found, because I knew of the musical and some of the songs from the show that I loved called Rise. And then I found when everything shut down, I found the original soundtrack. So that was like my favorite discovery from lockdown.
Yeah.
But then I also discovered First Date, and I listened to, like, I had heard songs from Rent, but I listened to the whole thing. And yeah, there's just so many that I just like fell in love with. And either I like already loved and just like became even more obsessed, or found for the first time. And
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
That's the beauty of those soundtracks, is that you can discover them years after the shows have closed. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. So you played Mitchell Pritchett in Modern Family, which that show was one of my favorites, and it was so funny. What was it like to be on such a popular and long-running show?
Well, I mean, as an actor, you're sort of programmed to always think that nothing's going to last that long. You know, even if you're always working, you're always jumping from job to job. No job lasts that long. Even the most successful shows only last, maybe 6, 7, 8 years at the most. And so I was never expecting to have that sort of time with a group of people. 11 years. I mean, I think back from like when I was in first grade all the way through like high school. That's basically how long I was on Modern Family. And when I was a kid, that seemed like an eternity. But like, I can't believe that that's how long I spent playing one character. And thank God it was someone I loved playing. Like, I loved the cast, and I loved the writing, and I loved the social message of this gay couple being on TV. I just loved working on that show. It was just such a joy. So it was really hard to let it go. But I at every moment when I was doing it, I was like, I just kept reminding myself, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Just really take it in and enjoy it. And I think I did, because I was ready to let it go, and it was time to say goodbye to it. It was so sad saying goodbye to Modern Family. But I still see a lot of my cast members. I'm going to see Sarah Hyland, who plays Haley. She's getting married this weekend, and a lot of us are going to be at her wedding. And, it'll be like a little reunion. And that group of people will always mean so much to me. So that's the big takeaway from getting to spend 11 years on something. It's just the amount of people that you get to become so close with. And they're truly like a second family to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So after playing Mitchell for so long, did the line between Mitchell and Jesse ever get blurred?
I think it was blurred from almost the beginning. Because when I auditioned for Mitchell, first of all, I don't know if you know this, but I've talked about it before, but they wanted to see me for Cameron, which is Eric Stonestreet's part. He played my partner on the show. They only wanted to see me read for Cameron when I was auditioning for it. And I thought, no, I like Mitchell more. I think Mitchell's more me. But they made me audition for Cameron, but I auditioned for Cameron as if it were Mitchell. Like, I basically read all the line readings as if I were reading for Mitchell. And they said, you'd actually make a really good Mitchell. And the reason I wanted to play Mitchell so much is because I really felt like he was very close to who I was. And, as an actor, I love stretching myself and becoming different people. But there's also a comfort when you read something and you really relate to it. That's also a really beautiful thing, that you can just infuse who you already are into a character. The fact that Mitchell was hoping to get married and wanted a kid. And like, these are all things that Jesse also wanted. And so I loved sort of allowing that line to be really blurred and just sort of playing myself on TV for 11 years.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. So was it difficult to say goodbye to the show, the actors, and all of the characters?
Yeah. I mean, also the crew. I mean, the people behind the cameras, we were with a lot of those people for the entire time. And it was just a very tight knit group of people. And, when you're on a show that's successful and you lose something that I lost in those 11 years was like my sense of anonymity. Like I can't just walk down the street and no one knows who I am. Usually there's some people that are excited to see me, and that's always really lovely. But, sometimes it's hard to not have your privacy. And it was really a bonding experience because those actors in that show all understood what it was like to be a part of Modern Family, and no other set of actors will ever understand what it's like to be a part of that show. And also to have those memories together. It's, it was really, really special. And ending it felt like a funeral, really. I mean, it was really sad because you're putting these people to bed for, you're not going to visit them every week. And also, all of our loved ones came to the set to like be with us and say goodbye. It was very moving. It was very, very profound. And I don't think I'll ever have a moment like that again.
Yeah. So were there a lot of blooper reels? Because some of the scenes just were so funny, and I was just cracking up, and I would imagine like it was hard not to crack up in some scenes.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's episodes where I watch them now on TV. If I see an episode that's re-airing, and I know how many times we had to work to get that scene without laughing. Usually it involves the entire group of us because we all just found each other so funny and humorous. And when we were all together in one scene, it was really hard keeping a straight face, because if it was just two people, you can be really good about like, okay, I'm not going to break. I'm not going to laugh. I'm just going to be really strong. But if it was all 11 of us in the same room, ultimately there was someone that was going to start to, when your mouth starts to curl up, and then, that they're going to laugh. I mean, it just was impossible that someone wasn't going to do that. So it was really hard getting through those scenes. But there are some great blooper reels. I think if you buy our DVDs or anything like that, they usually include those in the DVD sets. Or I'm sure on YouTube, there's ways to Google them. They're really funny. They're really, really funny.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you were also in Taylor Swift's music video for You Need to Calm Down. How did that opportunity come about?
Well, I'm a fan of Taylor Swift, because who isn't? I mean, I assume most people are, but I was a fan of hers, and I'd gone to some of her concerts, and she knew I was a fan, and she loved Modern Family. And we had a little bit of a Twitter exchange at one point. But then we asked her to do, for the 50th anniversary of Gay Pride in New York City, we asked her if she would come and do a surprise song at this really historic bar called Stonewall, which is where the Stonewall riot started in New York 50 years ago, and commemorated the beginning of Gay Pride. And so she was just coming out with her Lover album, and she was excited to be a part of it. So we actually got her to sneak into this tiny little bar and do a surprise set for this group of like 30 people. It was really, really cool. And on the heels of that, she was putting together her music video for You Need to Calm Down. And anyone who's seen that video knows it's just full of members of the LGBTQ community. And she asked Justin and I who she knew we had just gotten married. She asked us to play a couple getting married in the video. I think we're only in the video for maybe 4 seconds, but we were so excited to do it. And then her video got nominated for an MTV, Moon Man or whatever they are. And she won. And I was never even expecting this, but Justin and I both actually got a Moon Man trophy for being in 4 seconds of the video. So it was a really cool experience. I love that people find those little Easter eggs in that video. It's a really entertaining video.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that video. I remember when it first came out, my sister and I were just like rewatching it, trying to see if we could catch everybody in the video.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my next question actually, was if you're a true Swiftie.
Oh yeah. I was maybe a late bloomer. I didn't listen to a lot of her country stuff, but now that she's re-recording it, I've started listening to it, and I'm like, oh, how did I miss all this great stuff? I mean, the Red album is so good.
Yeah.
But I think she's just great, and I love her message, and I think she's such a role model. And I don't know, I don't want to say I'm proud of her because she doesn't need me to be proud of her, but I don't know, I am. I'm proud of her. I think she's done a really remarkable thing.
Yeah. That's so cool. What are your next projects?
Well, I'm hoping to do some more stage work soon. I have did you read the books Ivy and Bean, or do you know about Ivy and Bean?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember if I read them. I think I did, but I can't remember.
They might be a little too young for you now, but like they were a pretty popular book series. And anyway, they're making them into three different movies for Netflix. So I play a villain in one of those, which is coming out, I think, in a few weeks. So that's something that I'm really excited about that's coming up.
Oh, that's so cool. So are there any shows that you're currently obsessed with?
Oh, it's so funny that you asked that, Maya, because last night I literally just was flipping through. I watched so many different things. I was so all over the map. I would watch an episode of this and I'd turn on something else. And I started watching Abbott Elementary. Do you know this show?
Yeah.
It's really funny. I have a friend who's in it, and I've been meaning to turn it on, but I just hadn't had an opportunity. And so I watched the first episode last night, and I really, really loved it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. My mom and I right now are binge watching the new show, A League of Their Own.
Oh, how is it? I hear it's great.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Melanie is the one who's playing like the Rosie O'Donnell part. She's wonderful. Yeah, she's great.
Cool. Yeah. So if there was a Broadway musical about your life, what would it be called, and who would play you?
It would be called The Fabulous Life of Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
Oh, I like that.
And it would be played by Andrew Garfield.
Oh, yeah.
Get the cast out. I can't play myself. I want someone younger and more handsome than me. Or Patti LuPone.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm also a big fan of Andrew Garfield. So,
so great. He's so great.
Yeah, he is. So, but yeah, I like that. I like the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what song gets you out of bed in the morning?
Well, I'm going to sound so old, but I really love jazz music. But if it's pop music, I do love Beyonce. I really like her new album. I love Taylor Swift. But what song specifically? Oh gosh, that's so hard. I feel like anything on the new Harry Styles album and on Harry's House would
Yeah.
get me out of bed.
Oh yeah.
Just even that first song, and then we just like let the whole album play.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so is there a personality trait that has gotten you in the most trouble?
Sometimes my humor can be a little edgy, but which is a surprise because I think people have seen me play such a straight-laced person on Modern Family for so long. So sometimes my humor could be a little edgy with friends that I feel comfortable around. And sometimes like, oh, that was a little too far. Because I can I like to poke fun at my friends. And so that sometimes gets me in trouble a little bit. Like I'll hurt my friends' feelings. It's like, no, I'm only doing it because I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, my whole family and I, we have a kind of a dark sense of humor. Yeah. And so a lot of the times, like other people don't know we're joking, but yeah. Like if we're all together, like we all understand and we all crack up at it, but then everybody else is just staring at us.
That's exactly it. Yeah, you got to be around the people who understand your intentions. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, I'm trying to flip the page for my questions.
Okay.
So what inspires you to keep going when you're having a bad day?
Well, I mean, I have a family now. I have a son who's 2. And I'm expecting another one in November. So they certainly keep me going. I always remember back to like when I was in high school, and I was bullied a lot in high school. And so I didn't have a lot of friends, and I look back at that time and I think, oh gosh, I just kept telling myself things will be better someday. And I'll have, a career, and I'll have people that I enjoy being around and that understand me. And that happened because I found them. I found those people, and I worked hard for a career. So when I'm having hard times now, I keep thinking back to my, younger self, and I remind myself, it was hard for you then, and things got better, and it's hard for you now, and things are going to get better again. Like it's just, that's what life is. It's secular, and there's ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and it's really hard sometimes when you're in a hard time to think about things will be better soon, but they will be.
Yeah. Congratulations about your second child.
Thank you.
Yeah. So my last question for you, and I just wish I could keep talking to you because I'm having so much fun. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero, and why?
Oh my gosh. I feel like, let me think. I want to think of the right person because that's such a great question. I mean, I think my husband is a superhero. I mean, he puts up with me. But I feel like, gosh. I mean, I really feel like Michelle Obama is a pretty spectacular person. I love the way she has stood up for women and people of color, and I love her positivity. I love her love for the arts. She's such a theater supporter, and yet she's so eloquent, and I feel like she says things in a way that makes me feel calm. And she if you ever want to get inspired, you can just listen to her audiobook even. I mean, she's just a really peaceful person for me, and I find her to be quite a spectacular person. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I've just had the best time talking with you, and I can't even like put it into words. I'm just starstruck right now. So
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Thank you so much. Thanks for asking me to do this. I saw all these amazing people you'd interviewed. I was like, oh, can't believe she wants to interview me too.
oh, sorry, I just realized I skipped a question. Are you
Yeah, go
okay?
ahead.
Should I ask you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was actually the question was just about since you just recently guest starred in the high school musical series, and I was just wondering how that came about.
Tim Federle, who's the creator of High School Musical, the musical, the series. I love that title. It's so long.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is a friend of mine from New York City, and he just asked me to do it. And, Olivia Rodrigo, who I'm such a huge fan of, I knew that she was on the show, and I knew that she was really busy, and they were trying to get her for just a few days so that she can film some of her scenes before she had to go out on tour. Like, she was literally in the middle of a world tour. And so they just had her for a few days, so they couldn't do things with the whole cast. So they were trying to figure out scenes that she could do just sort of with a small group of people. And Tim was just calling people that he trusted, that he knew would be cool around her and that she would feel comfortable around. And I mean, I did like launch right into like, I'm a big fan of yours, but she also like loved Modern Family. So like, that was really nice that like she knew who I was, and she couldn't have been nicer, Maya. I mean, she was so sweet. And I even FaceTimed with my husband, who's even a bigger fan of hers than I am. And she like said hi to Justin, and she was just so lovely. And I had the best time working with her that day. And I just watched the episode a few days ago, and I'm so glad I did it, because I just feel like to be a part of that show's legacy, but then also, to get to meet her. I mean, it was just such a lovely experience. I wasn't expecting. It just came totally out of left field. So that's how that happened.
Oh, cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I actually interviewed her a few years ago with Madison, when they were both on the show Bizarre Vark.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't she great?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for answering that last question.
Of course.
And yeah, just thank you again so much for calling in. I just had so much fun.
Me too. Thanks for asking me. So nice meeting you.
You too.
Thank you so much for spending so much time with us. I know Maya will keep us updated on where we can find you next.